Since you were last here, I have played through 2 months of Football Manager. It's been a busy 2 months. I've played 19 games, and today I'm sat on the 2nd of February, which is deadline day, because we've got money to spend. And that is down to one major sale, Ansu Fati to Man City. Ansu Fati bought pretty much with the money that we gave Man City for Erling Haaland. They spent £205 million on him. Now, to be fair, he had a very, very good first half to the season for us, but £200 million, I couldn't turn it down. What that does mean is that Man City now have bought Tammy Abraham and Ansu Fati off us for a total of £250 million, which means that if you take these two players and £150 million, that's basically what I've got Haaland for, which when you put it like that, the £400 million almost seems reasonable. Now, I have added one new player to the squad in January, arguably a replacement of sorts to Ansu Fati, a player who I was actually eyeing up before we sold him, Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa. He is phenomenal in Football Manager this year, natural at centre attacking mid and left attacking mid, which I think is where he'll play for the most part for us. If we do just compare him here with Ansu Fati, I'd argue he's a better player, although, you know what, it is pretty close, I'll admit it. But I think for £112 million, considering we've sold Fati for almost double that, it's sensible business. And like I already mentioned, the transfer window's still open. I've got almost £200 million transfer budget still, and a load of wage budget. In fact, a ridiculous amount of wage budget. When I sold Fati, the board kind of rejigged the budgets, and then I also had the option in January to reassess my board expectations for the season. As a result of that, I'm sat here with, less than 24 hours left of the window being open thinking, who else could I add? Anyway, before we answer that question, we are going to run the intro. Then, Arsenal, Mikel Arteta's meant to take on. After that, I think we're going to come back for the EFL Cup final. That final will be against either Manchester United or Liverpool. After their first leg, it's 1-0. The final, I'm actually not sure when it's going to be scheduled. It's a very chaotic period of time at the moment. Let's run the intro. We'll worry about that later. And we've got bigger fish to fry immediately. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Chelsea. Welcome back to episode 21. I've got a lot to catch you up on because, as I mentioned in the intro, I've played 19 games since you were last here. It's an absurd amount of football. That is across the League, FA Cup, League Cup, and of course the Champions League. Yeah, it's been a pretty intense time. Rather than cover these games in chronological order, we'll go through them in competition order. First and foremost, FA Cup. Easy draws in the first couple of rounds we've been in. Demolished MK Dons, demolished Hull City. Sunderland or Norwich in the 5th round. I think we could be on an FA Cup run this year. Over in the EFL Cup, we've made it to the final without really being tested. We beat Brighton, beat Crystal Palace earlier on in the year. Since last episode, we took on Leyton Orient in the quarter-final, then got drawn against Championship side Watford. We demolished them 8-0 on aggregate. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Erling Haaland has had a lot of fun in this competition. Over in the Champions League, of course, last episode, we drew against PSG. Since then, some really good results. Back-to-back 6-2 wins. That's probably not a sentence I've ever said before on YouTube, but we managed that against Atleti and Real Betis. We beat Dynamo in our most recent game 3-0. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. We have qualified top of the Pops, although Bayern Munich and Real Madrid did have the exact same record as us. If we just look at some of the stats here, we lead the way in many, many departments. And in terms of player stats, Erling Haaland, not top goal scorer. I know, Vitinha for Marseille is up there with 12. I don't know if he's going to add many more because at the moment he wants to leave. But I'm not paying 80 million for him. That would be silly. As for our Premier League form, we left things last time having played Bournemouth and won 3-1. Lots of games played. We are unbeaten, but there were a couple of draws in here. That might be one result that stands out. We beat Newcastle 4-0. 0-0 draw against Manchester United was disappointing, but good to keep a clean sheet defensively. We've been much better as of late. You might have noticed here as well, I've pivoted and started really sticking with the 4-2-4 more often. It's worked out most of the time, such as against Nottingham Forest. Less so against Crystal Palace. One game where it definitely worked, this one against Man City. I would show you the goals for this one, but I'm conscious of time today. We beat them 7-1. Erling Haaland scored 4 against his former club. We got battered by them 3-0 in the away game. think we made it up here. Since then, we've been almost perfect. 3-0 against Aston Villa, 5-0 against Burnley, a few more clean sheets against the likes of Fulham, and then a 6-0 win against Tottenham was great. Unfortunately, we did draw against Everton. In spite of that, Haaland did grab 2. Most recently, against Burnley, Haaland grabbed another hat-trick. He has 39 Premier League goals in 21 appearances. It's silly. It really is silly. Now, in spite of the fact we have drawn 3 games since I was last here, and in fact, before we left things last episode, we hadn't drawn a game all year, we are still unbeaten in this run of the last 2 months. Elsewhere, Man City obviously beaten by us handsomely. They've had a couple of other slip-ups in recent games. They lost 3-0 away against Liverpool, which was a really, really big result. Speaking of which, Liverpool are now in 3rd place, but we have got a pretty healthy cushion. 6 points ahead of Man City, a game in hand as well. We've scored 82 goals, and whilst defensively, it's still not as incredible as it could be, versus where we were last episode when I was showing you the goals against column, it is markedly better. If you're wondering about the current state of the first team, here is how things are looking at the moment. We have still a reasonably, I feel like, normal-sized squad of 26 players. We are right on the cusp of not being able to register any more players to the Champions League, so I can't make any big additions. We have been wrestling with a lot of injuries when it comes to our attacking midfielder options. I kind of talked about that last episode. I feel like in terms of our injury history and where the injuries have been throughout this year, it has been a lot of attacking midfielders. Payet has had 5 injuries in the last, 12 months, and Kunku's had 6 injuries. Ferguson's had 3, Arda Güler, Haaland, Yamal as well has had a concerning amount of injuries. In spite of that, though, he is continuing to develop well. We have lost Ansu Fati, who was definitely an injury-prone player, and obviously in his place we've brought in Jacob Ramsey, who, when we look at his injury history, it's slightly less intimidating. I do still want to add someone, and I realise I've just talked about all the injury proneness and all the issues there. It's maybe one of the reasons why this transfer I'm thinking about makes no sense whatsoever. That signing is Neymar on loan for a year. I've actually got this agreed if I want to make it happen. Neymar, he's an injury-prone winger. He's currently on £700,000 a week at PSG. I've offered to loan him for the next 12 months and pay all those wages, and I think give them another £1 million a month on top of that. Before I confirm this or even consider confirming it, which I'm not sure I want to do because it feels like the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals, given the fact we have actually got money to spend, maybe I should look at what else is available. But before we do that, let's hit the big take part button. Let's make the whole game go yellow. Boom. I don't know. It was more dramatic in my head, clicking the make everything yellow button. It is now deadline day. I don't know if we've got the editing budget to have my voice reverberate there. Editing Jack, work your magic if I'm paying you enough to do that. We now are in a position where maybe we can make some deals happen. I did and ah about whether or not I wanted to sell Ansu Fati. He was our 2nd top goal scorer across all competitions. Haaland, obviously, loads of goals for him. If he's not available, though, I do wonder where are the goals going to come from. We've got plenty of striking options. We are playing the 2-striker system more and more. I do have a slight concern that if we were to have an injury to Haaland, we could be in trouble. So I am wondering if rather than go for Neymar, who can technically play striker, maybe we should look at striking options. Before someone suggests it, I did actually already try and sign Vinicius Jr. I made a bid for him of £194 million. He then signed a new deal. In fact, he signed a new deal. Can I just trigger his release clause? There's no way he's going to want to talk to me here, is there? Nah, he signed a new deal. I did approach to sign him for his release clause, and he did exactly what he did to me in the summer. So I feel like he just doesn't want to join us. I'd rather he just didn't string me along, if possible. I feel hurt. I know someone will ask, what about Mbappe? I can't afford his wages. He's on almost £1 million a week, which is absurd. I think the highest we could offer him, when I did actually try and make an offer, I think I could offer him 500,000, which wasn't even halfway to what he wanted. And I have also tried to sign Harry Kane already, because I know someone will ask about that. I have spent an embarrassingly long amount of time looking at striking options, to the point where I'm going to have edited it all out. I've literally spent 20 minutes. I think Tell might be the best player out there. 20 years old, a little bit of potential about him. He is not cheap by any means, but in terms of what he can offer, in terms of versatility, but also in terms of just a really solid striking option, I think he could be a useful player. You kind of compare him with Victor Roque. Similar mould of player, can play a similar set of positions. Tell obviously can play in those wider attacking areas, which is nice. I hate the price tag, but it's the last transfer window I'm going to do as Chelsea manager. I can spend the money. We have it. I've just suggested an offer, and Bayern Munich have now gone, we don't want 76 million. We want 158. Why do I feel like this ends with Neymar? Little bit of sale news. Amari Hutchinson heading to Watford. You might remember this as the guy who I kept loaning to championship clubs. I looked to sell him in the summer. There wasn't any interest there. Ultimately, we have now got a bid from Watford, just shy of £9 million. I'm going to have to take it. I'm not going to get more than that, I don't think. He's 22. He's not getting any younger. He's a solid player, but nowhere near our first team. It's come to this. I'm loaning Lukaku to play as a backup striker. I know I promised him regular starter. It'll be fine. I'm only paying half his wages. I have the option to sign him in 12 months. I won't be here to exercise that option. But, I don't know, loan, basically a free transfer. I think it's depth. It's depth. I think I've lost the plot. See, this loan, I can actually justify the wages. The Neymar one, I've promised him I'm going to pay all £700,000 of his wages. That is mental. I cannot do that. You can see here the remnants of all the different strikers I looked at during that period that has been edited out the video. I really did look at all the options out there. And yet, in spite of all of that, I decided Lukaku on loan was the correct choice. Make of that what you will. I can't believe I'm considering this. The loan makes no sense. I'm paying all of his wages. £700,000 a week for this guy. I know we're at the end of the save game and we're meant to do silly stuff. Lukaku, I'm drawing the line here. Lukaku was the line. I may have even gone over it with the Lukaku signing. I am not doing this. This is stupid. I know some of you were now expecting it to cut to me having confirmed the signing of Neymar. Not quite. I'm trying to sign Harry Kane. There's 30 minutes left. This deal's not happening. How much money does he want a week? Yeah, you could be an important player, Harry. I can give you that. He wants £1.1 million a week. I can offer 575,000. I feel like we're quite a way apart here, but I'll just offer him loads of money. This is pointless. What did you do with your deadline day, Jack? Well, FATI left and I signed Lukaku back at Chelsea. I brought back Giroud and it worked. I brought back Tomori, kind of worked. This is going to be free for free. Good news as well, I could unregister Kendry Paez and then register Lukaku for our Champions League squad. He's probably going to have a cry about it. I don't care. He's been here a day. I'm getting told that Lukaku should be taking penalties and we should train his ball control. If he scores goals, it'll be fine. It's a big if. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. We're going to try and teach an old Lukaku how to control a football. How hard can it be? Okay, first game up today. Yes, we are actually playing two matches today. It's Arsenal v Chelsea. 6th versus 1st. We're taking on Arteta's men. London derby, let's try and get a win. I believe this might be the game in hand that we have over Man City. It's a Wednesday kickoff. Obviously, we're still in every single competition, so our schedule is rammed. Rotation's necessary. This isn't the kind of game I'm rotating for, though. In terms of our team news, we're pretty much at full strength. I'm still not 100% decided on what the strongest 11 is. When we are playing with two strikers, Ferguson and Haaland are my go-to. If I do opt to play the slightly more conservative approach, I think the plan is just to drop Ferguson in favour of Jacob Ramsey. But for this game here, I think I'm going with two strikers. I'm going to be bold away from home. Have realised, might want Lukaku on the bench. That is not a sentence I thought I was going to utter before today's video. Yeah, he's on the bench. He's here. He's back. The fans hate him. Let's see if he can win them and me over. I feel like as a football manager, you're not meant to say that you're hoping a player's going to win you over that you've just bought. Obviously, we're not bought him. We've loaned him. We're just paying his wages. There's an option to buy him in 12 months. I would never exercise that option, but the Football Manager AI is weird. Anything could happen after I'm gone. 6 minutes in, and Nkunku foot injury. Oh, okay. Rooney, I think you're the option to come on down here. He's going to play out on the right. He is left-footed, of course, just as a little reminder. But to be fair, he has put his best performances in this year in that right attacking mid position. I am hoping that injury to Nkunku isn't that bad. If it is, it's a recurrence, isn't it, of that pattern that I mentioned. Injuries in the attacking third have been an issue. And of all the striking options I could have signed, I signed Lukaku, who can't play at attacking mid. The only thing that could have made the start of this game worse is if Zinchenko had hit the target there. Oyarzabal throwing inside to Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. We managed to wrestle the ball away from him. Unfortunately, though, can't get it forward to Ferguson on that occasion. Arsenal now trying to find a way through the middle. Odegaard goes wide to Saka. It's defended well, and now Yamal is making a run down this left side. A mazy run laid inside to Casado, who lays it in the path of Haaland, who doesn't get there. Tapsoba now to play it out from the back. There was a little... Oh, okay, well, we'll come back to my previous point. Ferguson's been given the ball. Oh, my word, he scored from there. It's his 10th goal of the year. Who needs Lukaku? We've got Ferguson. What I was about to tell you before I was rudely interrupted by this horrific bit of passing around the back was that Casado actually had some offers for him from Real Madrid in the January transfer window, amounting to around £100 million. I turned them down. He is pretty much untouchable. I feel like he and Bellingham as a centre-mid duo, it's like a bit of a cheat code in Football Manager terms. Yamal with the ball, lays it back to Chilwell. We're a goal to the good. We are playing our more attacking system. We've been rewarded for that early on, although when you look at the stats for this game, not having as much of the ball as I'd like. In spite of us not having the ball, however, when we do have it, we get it into dangerous areas. We're looking to do that again here. Haaland, Bellingham, Reece James on the overlap. Two players in the middle to aim for. He plays it across. Ferguson tucks it away, the flag is raised, and that probably means it's not going to count. For a moment, I thought he was about to grab his second of the game, Ferguson. I think the assistant is going to come to the rescue of Arsenal, but it's really good attacking football from us, creating opportunities. Just got to time our runs better. 5 minutes left of this half. It has been, I want to say it's been one-way traffic. It's not really been one-way traffic. We've had a lot more of the ball in the second half of the first half. Neither team's created a great deal. At the break, it's 1-0. Not a classic. Gonna get shouty. Yamal is actually on a 6.4. So rather than keep him on the pitch here, I'm going to make a change. Jacob Ramsey, come on down. He isn't left-footed, so I don't really love playing him out on the left-hand side. But I do feel like the idea of players playing as wingers or playing onto their stronger feet, be that as an inside forward cutting in on their stronger foot or as a winger playing wide on their stronger foot, that is actually a little bit overblown, I think, by some people in Football Manager. Genuinely, I think you can make it work. I mean, Rooney's a pretty good example of that, right? Play him out on the right-hand side as a winger, he puts in some really, really good performances, in spite of the fact he's only got a fairly strong right foot. I realise I brought on Jacob Ramsey and I've said, oh, he's kind of good, he's useful. I've spent £112 million on him. I really should be expecting a return. I feel like the Haaland and Bellingham transfers have kind of warped what I perceive as value when it comes to transfers. Jacob Ramsey has not been great to start his time here at Chelsea. This would be a great game for him to step up against our rivals in Arsenal, who at the moment are having a little bit of the ball here, a little bit of spell 10 minutes into this second half. Looking to build the ball out from the back still, of course. We are still playing our two-striker system. Tapsoba under some pressure from Haaland. They got caught out playing out from the back previously. On this occasion, though, Arsenal knocking the ball well. Saka in behind, one-on-one. Perry, what a save. That is the first real chance Arsenal have had in this game. We have still got the resulting corner to deal with. It's whipped towards the near post. Ramsey heads it away. And, well, there's a 2-on-2 here. I know how Football Manager works. I've watched enough of it. The highlight's just going to end here, isn't it? Yeah, when you play Football Manager for a living, you start to spot the patterns. When you look at the ratings for our team, it hasn't exactly been an inspired match thus far. With 20 minutes left, we've got 3 changes to make if we so wish, and I think we might be making them sooner rather than later. Ball whipped in here. 3 of our defenders go for 1 football there. I don't love that. We're on the back foot again. More defending needed. The ball... Well, it trickles across the line. The ref has blown for a penalty here, I think, on Chilwell for an alleged professional foul. It would have been a tap-in, so maybe it was a foul worth conceding. The penalty is going to be awarded. I mean, he's had a good game so far, Perry, but being tested from the penalty spot is a slightly different proposition. No pressure on him to stop it. If he could stop it, it'd be massive. He went the right way, and for a second I thought he was going to stop it, but sadly, Oyarzabal is going to score to make it 1-1. Haaland's on a 6.7. That is pretty shocking, isn't it? A lot of our players struggling a little bit for fitness in this game. I was thinking about taking off Chilwell, but actually I'm going to bring on Addons. Elsewhere, Victor Roque, on you come. I know Haaland's not having a good game. I know Ferguson scored. I feel like Haaland is just the kind of player you have to keep on, isn't he, in Football Manager? Going to ask our players to hit earlier crosses into the box. We've got 2 big meaty men to aim for. I realise I could bring in Victor Roque. I could also bring in Lukaku. I don't think the Victor Roque sub's gone through yet. You know what? I think this is Lukaku's time to shine. Bring him onto the pitch. Be real. Did you think this third season of this Chelsea Let's Play would involve Erling Haaland and Lukaku as a strike partnership? I definitely didn't, and it's my bloody series. Ramsey, Lukaku's in the middle. Ramsey goes on his own, and he shouldn't have. Corner, Rooney. Can we get the ball in? It's whipped towards the near post. Headed away, but only as far as Erling Haaland. Chance to get it into a dangerous area. Chilwell, edge of the box. His shot goes over as well. 5 minutes left of this game. One last shout of demand more. The players look fired up. They look hungry. 4 minutes of added time. Is anything going to happen? No. No. It's just going to end 1-1. I mean, that is anticlimactic as hell. I've just noticed their goalkeeper got injured at half-time. We've seen an absurd amount of goalkeeper injuries for the other team this year, I feel like, in this save game. I'm not going to complain, other than the fact their goalkeeper who came on at half-time got man of the match. Yeah, you know what? I am actually annoyed about that. I mean, at the end of the day, we've not lost. Arsenal are a good team, but when you look at their current league position and points total, you have to view that as 3 points on offer, even away from home. In the end, we have to settle for a point. And Kunku is out for 3 to 4 weeks. That is not good news because it means he isn't available for the second game of today's episode, which is a cup final against Liverpool. We won this competition last year. I want to win it again this year. I'm already conscious this episode is a slightly longer one. I've got 3 more weeks of Football Manager to play. Don't go anywhere. Carabao Cup final coming right up. So 2 games played ahead of this match against Liverpool, both in the Premier League. West Brom 4-1, Leeds United 3-0. Is it going to come as a surprise to you if I told you that Haaland got a hat-trick in all of them? Probably not yet. 6 goals in his last 2 games. His goal-scoring form is ridiculous. He has 45 Premier League goals in 24 games. It's just Erling Haaland things, isn't it? It's actually ridiculous. Look at the form chart. I've never seen anything like it. You might have spotted, however, in this Leeds game we won. It was at a cost. Lucas Perry injured. He's actually broken his lower arm. He's out for the next 3 to 5 weeks. Not only does that mean he misses today's Carabao Cup final, but it does also mean that next month when we have 2 Champions League games for sure in that round of 16, we are also going to be without him. They are games where you want your first choice goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, you're going to get a run in the first team again. Now, to be fair to him, when he has played for us, he's actually not played that bad this year. I've given him 3 games in the Champions League, not through choice, but he got a 7.1 rating in those. In the league, he's on a 7.15 rating. Hopefully, he's going to keep that form going into today's Carabao Cup game. So, unfortunately, we are without a few players today. Perry obviously injured. Wesley Fofana is suspended. Jacob Ramsey's cup-tied, and Kunku coming back from his injury. I've been told he could play 75 minutes. I don't really want to risk him with that. So in terms of the starting 11, it's pretty much full strength outfield with the exception of the wide attacking midfield areas. Yamal is going to go out and play on the left-hand side. This guy has been absolutely incredible this year. He's developing so much. I mean, there's a reason he's the best wonder kid this year in Football Manager. I feel like I'm experiencing it firsthand. Over on the other side, we have Rooney. Came on off in the bench last game. Didn't really inspire against Arsenal, but he has come good against Liverpool earlier on this year. Going to hope he can repeat what he did in the league for us. A lot has changed. One thing that's not changed is Erling Haaland's goal-scoring record. We are going to stick with the 4-4-2 for this game. This is a system that when we first brought it in, it did look a little bit susceptible to conceding goals. We looked open at the back. Actually, as the season's transpired, it's a system where we seem quite solid. I think that's probably more of a testament to Caicedo and Bellingham, but because of their raw quality, we can afford to perhaps overcommit in other areas of the pitch. Of course, we have already won the Club World Cup, the Community Shield. We are top of the Premier League. We're still in the FA Cup and Champions League. If we can win this final here, we are on for the kind of quintuple or sextuple. I don't know. I lose count. Lots of big numbers. Either way, before we get too carried away, we do actually have to win this game here, where we are, well, initially here on the back foot. Trent, Diaz crunches the crossbar and it goes out for a throw-in. That is a warning. Alisson has now got injured for Liverpool. I'm on the full version of the game now. I didn't see as many goalkeeping injuries as I'm seeing now, I feel like, in the beta period of the game. Have I been crazily unlucky with the goalkeeping injuries I've been seeing? Is everyone's experience like this? It feels like every other game right now, there's a goalkeeper going off injured. It's bizarre. It's weird. Maybe it's going to be in our benefit today, however, as Liverpool look to bring the ball forward. Nunes holding up the play, giving it to Florentino Luis. The Portuguese international gives it away, though. Now we look to spring the counter-attack. Rooney to Yamal. A switch of play. Players queuing up in the middle. Haaland is one of them, and Haaland is going to sweep that in on his left foot. Top bins 1-0. Kelleher is gone in goal for Liverpool. They are without their star goalkeeper, and well, immediately they've conceded. It's a ball in. Number 5 there, Konate's had an absolute disaster class of a defending interception there. That was awful by him. It's a bit of a gift as far as we're concerned. I'm not going to complain. I think last time we played Liverpool, it was 1-0 at the break and we got a couple of goals later on. This is a game that we have controlled for spells. Liverpool yet to have a shot on target, but they have had a few opportunities. So this game is not done yet. Going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. Can we step it up in this second half? Let's find out. I've not made any subs yet. I've not felt a need to make any subs yet. Liverpool's whole team have not really turned up, but as we approach the hour mark, maybe it is in our interest to bring on some fresh legs. That said, a second goal here could be huge. Rooney, James, Bellingham, into his feet, into the back of the net. It's Jude Bellingham's 9th goal of the season. It's 2-0. You bring in players like Bellingham and Haaland to score goals in cup finals. The two players who cost us £650 million between them have grabbed both the goals in this game so far. We look on course to retain the Carabao Cup, which, I'll admit it, it's not the biggest, sexiest trophy in the world. It's a trophy that you want to lift. It's a trophy that I want to win on a personal, greedy level, and I would love to make it embarrassing for Liverpool here. There is a kick-off highlight. If Liverpool get 1 goal back, immediately mentality has to reset. If we could catch them on the break, it'd be huge. Darwin Núñez has a header. It was offside. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Was never worried. Coming up to an hour played, I've still not made any subs yet. I say yet. I'm pretty sure we're going to be making subs very, very shortly. Fresh legs perhaps needed just to see out this result. We have been on top for spells, it feels like now, and we're on top again here, playing with a confidence and swagger. The ball whipped in by Chilwell is only dealt with as far as Rooney. He puts it back in towards Erling Haaland. It's his 63rd goal of the season. We're in February. I don't know if I've ever seen a number that big pop up at the bottom of a screen for goals in a season. It's actually absurd at this point. Like it's not really fair. I feel like giving him the number 5 shirt has really given him his powers. Okay, we're 3-0 up. Game's done. I'm going to take off players like Caicedo, who I would like to rest the legs of. Upamecano can come off for Tomori. He's been unhappy about his first team football as of late. Victor, okay, you come on for Ferguson. Don't want to disrupt things too much in the final third because it's where we've been best, and I wouldn't mind scoring a few more goals. Haaland got back-to-back league game hat-tricks going into this game against lower league Premier League opposition. I feel like they're the teams he enjoys playing against the most. That said, he is now on for a hat-trick against Liverpool. I don't know how many hat-tricks he's got this year. At the end of the season, I'll try and remember to add them all up. It feels like an absurd amount. When he turns up big. You wouldn't bet against him getting another. Trent with a corner opportunity, maybe for Liverpool to get a consolation. It's headed away once, it's headed away twice. The ball's still, though, in a dangerous area as far as we're concerned. Whilst I wouldn't panic if they score, not that they will score, it would still be 3-1. Liverpool have had a few more shots in this game. The pressure is mounting. They do actually have another corner here. Again, it's gone over. I'm not loving what I'm seeing right now. I'm going to shout demand more. Why not? Some of the players might be unhappy. Hopefully some of them realise I need to see more. Liverpool down a man. Darwin Núñez has gone off with an injury. It's game over. Wave it off. Let's just flag off, wave it off, referee. Let's just put them out their misery. Throw in the towel. It's game over. It's 3-0. There might be one last chance here for Haaland to get his hat-trick. Yamal, edge of the box, could pull the trigger, does pull the trigger, hits the woodwork. It would have been a spectacular way to end the final. The woodwork denies a 4-0 rout. Instead, we have to settle for 3-0, which I can deal with. It is a rather familiar sight at this point, but our Chelsea team are going to hoist aloft another trophy. It's the Carabao Cup for a second year in a row. That technically means we've done a treble: Club World Cup, Community Shield, Carabao Cup, but there's still 3 more trophies I want. I want the FA Cup, I want the Premier League, and I would love to win a Champions League this year. Dean Henderson is now out for 4 to 5 days. Bazunu might have to play against Norwich in the FA Cup. Could be worse. Haaland on form, only 2 goals. Shocking. Poor by his own standards, but I'll give him a little bit of praise. We are still 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a game in hand. We are still in the FA Cup, where our next game is in a few days' time against a Norwich team currently languishing in the Championship. I feel like there's another trophy or 2 available, maybe 3 if we're lucky. Next time out, we're going to come back for the big one, though. It's going to be the knockout rounds of the Champions League, starting with the round of 16. Things are going to be big. Things are going to be tasty. I hope to see you guys for it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Have I lost my mind signing Lukaku? Maybe. But we have fun vibes here at my Chelsea team, and Lukaku is a vibey kind of transfer. Who knows? Maybe he'll be featuring next game if there's a few injuries. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'll see you guys for it, though. Next time out, Champions League football awaits. Until then, it's me, Jack. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.